Hey BC, this is Ron. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you're having a good Labor Day weekend. I know I am. I was a little bit worried that I was going to have to work this weekend, but as luck will have it, I got 3 days off and I really needed it. So yeah, I've been relaxing and just de-stressing, and so yeah, I got some albums to show today, and it's stuff I've been picking up over, I mean, some of the stuff goes back a few months, but I got a pretty decent little pile to show today. And also later at the end of my video, I'm going to be talking about a monsoon storm that blew in the Phoenix area last night. And the freakiest thing happened to me, so I'll be telling you about that later. And right now I want to make an announcement. I got a comment from Casey Chambers, and he's been commenting on my channel quite a while, several years I believe. Every once in a while, I haven't heard from him a whole lot, but every once in a while he would drop me a line, say hello. So yeah, I got this comment from him. He said, Ron, you're featured on a blog. And he left a link, and the link is in my previous video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and transfer that link into this video. And if that doesn't work, then you're going to have to go back to my previous video to click on the link to read the blog. But anyway, the blog is about the vinyl community, basically. But he happened to spotlight my channel. And so what an honor. I mean, I just can't believe it. So he had a lot of good words to say about the vinyl community. So check that out. Alright, let's get going with the showing. One thing I want to start off with, a while back I got this album by the Four Seasons, The Genuine Imitation Life Gazette. And this is their Pop Psych album from '69. Well, I didn't have the insert, and I was at a thrift store the other day, and I found a beat copy of that album, and it just happened to have the insert in it. So this is it. And it's kind of like those entertainment inserts that you would see in the weekend newspapers. So, in case you haven't seen it, I'll show it. I'm not a big Four Seasons fan, but this is a really good album if you've never heard it. So yeah, check these ads out. You got Elvis Parsley, and you got chocolate covered Beatles, and you got Electric Prunes, and there's an ad for the tea company. There's an ad for the silver apples down here. Very cool. That is just such a cool ad. And it's A&P, and A&P was a real market. They didn't have them here in the West, but I think they were mainly like back east. But here it's A or P, but in reality, A&P was a real grocer. I don't know if they're still in business anymore. Maybe somebody can let me know, but probably not. So very cool. Okay, what is on the turntable? And this is one that I just picked up, and it's a Sunday's reissue of Joseph Stone Age Man. This is such an awesome album, and the cover really does reflect the music. Some of the songs are kind of like, you know, a group of cavemen were singing. You can just imagine them in their cave, you know, with their fur outfits on, big stacks of amps and their guitars and drums, and they're just cranking it out. But this is such a good album. A kind of mysterious artist. Not much is known about them, but awesome album. Side 2 is not quite as strong as side 1. And it does have one filler track, a cover version of House of the Rising Sun. But very cool. It was originally on the Skeptor label, and I think it come out in 69 or 70. Not really sure offhand, but very cool. It's on colored vinyl. They reproduced the Skeptor label. It's on colored vinyl. It's kind of a gold color, clear gold. Okay, just picked this one up over the weekend. It's the Patti Smith group, but this is her second album, Radio Ethiopia. It's from 1976. And this is the first Patti Smith album that I've ever owned. It's on the original Arista label. And I got a really clean copy of it. And here's the original company sleeve. And it also came with an insert. This lady was married to Fred Sonic Smith of the MC5, the late Fred Sonic Smith. He died quite a while ago, about 25 years ago. But this is really good. It's a mixture of hard rock and very experimental hard rock, more softer stuff, but it's got a lot of bite, it's got a lot of emotion. In the closing track, Radio Ethiopia, oh my god, that is a jaw dropper. It's a long track, heavy, and just amazing. So yeah, check that track out if you've never heard it before. Radio Ethiopia, Patti Smith group. So yeah, Lenny Kaye plays guitar on that, and you know, he did the liner notes for the original Nuggets comp. Here's another one I picked up just this weekend, and it's Salisbury by Uriah Heep. This is a German pressing. The alternate cover with the what we got here in the United States. The original was on the Vertigo label. This is on the Bronze label, so it's more like a late, I think it's a 1977 pressing. But I got it cheap, so it played great. So you know, I never heard this one before, so this is a really good album. It's a mixture of hard rock and a little bit of symphonic rock, softer stuff. They were really trying, I think Uriah Heep was really trying to prove what they were capable of after their first album. So this came out in 1970. This was the last Monkees album that I needed. I could still use a better cover, I think, but it's the Monkees present Mickey, David, and Michael. And I got this one, and it was all chewed on, like a monkey was chewing on it. So I just took some scissors and snipped it off. I've seen that so many times. It's like these dogs, you know, they get to their owner's albums and they chew on them, or somebody's old water bed broke and there's water damage all over. You know, this has got a little bit of moisture right here, but that's all right, because I didn't have this one. I got the first Quicksilver messenger service. This is a record club. See the stripes at the top there? And I think these were pressed by Decca Records. I know my Happy Trails was. This one probably was too. It's got a small pressing ring there around the spindle hole. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this was probably pressed by Deca. First big brother in the holding company after Janice left the band, be a brother. And this has got a sticker on it from Music Market. And I did look that up. I did look up that record store up online, and I can't remember where that was located offhand. But I did find some information about it. This one is not all that good. I actually think the one that followed this one is their better album. This is a weird compilation of Guess Who tracks from the early days, and it's a yellow label promo. It's on the MGM label. Come out in 1969. And it's really clean except for a little bit of wear up here on the edge. But the vinyl's really clean, and for $3 I was not going to leave it. So it's, you know, like tracks from singles. It's got Flying on the Ground is Wrong, cover version, Buffalo Springfield. And I never heard their version of it. It's got the great track Clock on the Wall is on this. And yeah, here's the track listing. Yeah, you don't see this one around much. I got an original LP by the band Family. It's called Bandstand. Now I have a US copy of this. This is UK. And this one's cool because it's got the plastic window. On the US copy, that's just, there's no cellophane there. And this is not die cut around the edge here on the US copy either. This is a really good album. I like this one. And it's on reprise. Here in the United States, it came out on United Artists. So, real cool. And I got a little oh, here's the inner sleeve. And as a little bonus, there was a booklet on the inside of it, and it didn't come with that album. This is a farewell tour for Family 1973 program, UK. It's mainly an interview with a few pictures. I mean, it's nothing great. It's got the family tree. It's definitely not the greatest program in the world. You know, it kind of basically looks like this throughout the whole thing. But I mean, it's worth more than what I paid for the whole album, so cool find. Really nice, clean copy of Keith Moon, Two Sides of the Moon, in the shrink with the pipe sticker, which is hard to find. And I'm sure you probably know what's lurking on the other side of this inner sleeve, and I'll spare you the visual excitement of that. Alright. Okay, the next one is There Are But Four Small Faces, US copy. Excellent cover. Really nice cover. This is such an awesome album. It's kind of unique. It's unique to the United States where it was like put together, but it's just really, really good. It's on the rough side as far as the vinyl goes. I would definitely like to upgrade the vinyl, but it plays good, so that's alright. Awesome album. Now I had this one in the late 70s when it first came out, and I always kind of wanted to get it again because I really enjoyed it. And it's the original German pressing of the Beatles live at the Star Club in Hamburg, Germany. It's on the Bellafon label. Usually when you find this album, it's going to be, you know, there's a US version of this, but this is the original German, so I'm very happy to get it. And there was a couple of songs on here. I remember there was a couple of songs on here that it was somebody else singing. It wasn't the Beatles, and it doesn't really. I don't think it actually says who it was in the liner notes. So I was always wondering who that was. Well, I was reading online, and Bebopalula and Hallelujah, I Love Her So. I think Bebopalula is sung by the manager of the Star Club with the Beatles. And Hallelujah, I Love Her So is the waiter of the Star Club. And I remember reading that online. I don't think it says it in the liner notes, but yeah, there's like a whole big story about how this came to be. Pretty interesting story about it online. Here the Beatles Tell All on VJ, interview record. And you see a lot of bootleg counterfeits of this around, but this is an original pressing, really clean, pressed at Monarch in Los Angeles. So one side is interview with the Beatles, and the other side is interview with John Lennon. I think there's a version of this that's like super valuable, like it was maybe promo only, but I think this was a commercial version of it. Maybe somebody knows. Here is David Peel in the Lower East Side, The Pope Smokes Dope. And I got this way below what they usually go for. It's on the Apple label. Produced by John and Yoko. And they're actually, you can hear them speaking on the album. And it has the track, The Ballad of New York City. John Lennon, Yoko Ono is on here. And as well as The Ballad of Bob Dylan is on here too. Yeah, it's got tracks like F Is Not a Dirty Word, Everybody's Smoking Marijuana, Pope Smokes Dope, Birth Control Blues, those kind of songs. And it's kind of a satire comedy LP. Very good, very, very entertaining. So, excellent. Here's a couple of reissues. This one I picked up a while back used. It's the first LP by Bob Trimble. And this is Outsider Folk Psych. Very rare outsider folk psych. The original copy of this, probably only like 500 copies were made, and they go for over $1,000. This guy was out of Massachusetts. Very unusual voice. It really takes a while for you to get used to his voice. It's so unusual. But this was originally from 1980, and it was reissued in 2007. And this one I've had for a long time. I bought it in 2009 at Revolver Records here in Phoenix. 14 bucks. And a lot of people call this LP the best psych album of the 80s. I don't know if I'd agree with that. I really like the Rain Parade, their debut album, but this is good. It's pretty hallucinogenic, that's for sure. So check it out, pretty cool. And the last one is Everhart Schroeder, Video Magic, and this is a German pressing. And in the US we got a different cover, totally different cover. This has a gatefold, and this is from 1978, and it features Sting and Annie Summers from the Police. And in a way, it's kind of like a Lost Police album. Sting sings on it, and pretty good. I used to have it a long time ago. I had the US copy, and I come across this German copy, so I grabbed it. It's got an old Zia Records price sticker from the 80s on it. A local Phoenix area store. So pretty cool. That's gonna do it for the showing, and let me tell you about that storm that blew in last night. I was coming home and I was going through the neighborhood side street, and I could see this big, huge wall of dust coming in from the east side, and strong wind, no rain, just wind and dirt. And I was approaching an intersection kind of in the middle of the neighborhood, and there was a four-way traffic light there. And it wasn't the kind that's, hanging up above the crosswalk in the middle of the intersection. It was more like, it was a post that was on the corner. And right along on the right-hand side of me, there's a bike path. So I was a little bit farther over because of the bike path. Normally I've been probably a little bit, it was a pretty good wide bike path. Normally I would have been a little bit over closer to the sidewalk if it hadn't have been there. So just as I was starting to go through the intersection, I got through and I heard this loud crash. And it startled me. What was that? And I looked behind me in my rearview mirror, and the traffic light had actually, say this is the sidewalk, the traffic light was here. The traffic light went boom, and it was covering the bike path. I'm just so thankful that didn't hit my car. If it had been tall enough or I'd been closer to the sidewalk, it may have hit me. I don't know if it fell when I was across from it, or if it fell after I'd already passed it, but it was close. It was right at about that time. So that was really freaky. And I was watching the news last night, and the power was out when I got home. And later, a couple hours later, when the power came back on, I was watching the news, and news reporters, police, fire department, they were all at that area. there was a two-car collision, pretty bad one. One guy was injured, and they said it was due to there being no lights there, and it was dark. So I saw the traffic light. It was still laying down on the ground. They showed it in the news, but that was freaky. So yeah, it was a close call, but I guess luck was on my side last night, huh? Alright, that's gonna do it. Like I say, I hope everybody has a nice Labor Day, and take care, and I'll see you next time.